right, hello and welcome to Revive with RxOnWeb, where we interview independent pharmacies to understand how your very own pharmacies turned out to be the superheroes during the tough times and how these independent pharmacies are driving patient care in America. Today, with us, we have Felix. He is the owner of Aaron Pharmacy, and we'll be discussing a lot of questions with them. We'll be having a one-on-one and try to understand what it took for Felix to bring in the best in Aaron Pharmacy. So stay tuned. We'll be having a lot of fun. Okay. All right, Felix, welcome to Revive with RxOnWeb. It's an opportunity to actually go ahead and feature a few of the pharmacies on our YouTube channel. At the same point of time, understand, what problems they face on a day-to-day basis, how they handled the COVID situation, what was it like at that point of time, some problems and some experiences. That is what we're going to share in this interview. Okay. To start with, I would like to start with a question. How do you aspire to be a pharmacist, or how did Aaron Pharmacy came into existence?
Well, thank you so much for having me, and it's a huge privilege to be here. And I want to thank you for all that you are doing, creating awareness in our profession. Pharmacy, being a noble profession, if I think, in my opinion, everybody first contact with healthcare is through the pharmacist. And as a pharmacist, we take pride, a whole lot of pride, in being the most accessible healthcare professionals. Your pharmacist is that person that you don't need their permission, you don't need an appointment. You just walk into a drugstore and you see a pharmacist, And that has always fascinated me as a little child. There's a drugstore across from the street from my house. And it was also funny that anytime anybody had any issues, it was always like, go to the store, go get something for it. You have headache, have you been to the store? You have stomach issues, have you been to the store? And of course, I grew up in a community I grew up in Africa where malaria is very endemic. I mean, there was a time I would have headache and fever, malaria headache and fever every other week. And it was always like, have you gone there to see what's going on? Have you spoken to the pharmacist and have you gotten something for your headache? So that really kind of fascinated me. And I just saw that gentleman as a full resource for the community. Everybody who had any issue went to him. And I got fascinated by that, and I got a little curious, went to school, high school, and then eventually when it was time to make the decision, I kind of felt what the requirements are, and I knew I could meet them, and I went with it.
All right, great. And since how long we've been running Aaron Pharmacy?
Aaron Pharmacy has been on now since 2020. So right. About 3 years. And prior to this, I was a partner in 2009 with another pharmacist. So I've been in the profession. I mean, I left college in December of 2000. So I've been a pharmacist for 23 years. Oh my God. And, I've been in and out. I've had privileges and opportunities to lead organizations, and I've practiced pharmacies in multiple different settings. So eventually when it was time to build Aaron, I knew exactly what I wanted.
All right, great. So it's almost been a year since we are done with COVID. I would still not say completely, but yeah, to an extent. How was it during that times? Any story that you would like to share?
With every challenge comes opportunity. When COVID first started, we were all scared. Nobody had an idea how it was going to turn out, especially in our lifetime. It was something we had never dealt with. I don't recall any time in my whole life where I've been told to sit at home, can't go out, and not because it's restriction, but because even if you go out, you could catch an infection. So COVID was scary. But again, as being a new business, it opened up a whole lot of opportunities. We are communicating on Zoom right now, and I would ask you, where was Zoom before COVID and where did Zoom become after COVID? In fact, literally every Zoom became on every lips and every fingers, during COVID. And nobody knew that everybody could work from home at some point, but we did. And then that's exactly what it was for us as a pharmacy. When we started, and of course, being a small community pharmacy. We offer a very intimate style of practice. We want to be in our patients' lives, and we want them to know exactly what's going on with us. And then we do delivery, we do patients' home visits, and just those patients knowing that the pharmacist would come home during COVID and sort through their medications. Because remember, there was a whole lot of anxiety. And the fact that you have a pharmacist who was willing to come in that scary period and still fill the blanks for you was a huge relief. And a lot of people bought into our game plan and our market, our market target. And that just rocked it for us. I mean, what we achieved during COVID, things we would have by business projections be doing in 5 years, we were able to do within 1 year. So in a nutshell, COVID was a blessing for us.
Oh, that's good. Okay. What is your take on this, conversation that goes along with says big chain pharmacies are a threat to local independent pharmacies?
Not exactly. We don't do the same business, even though we are in the same pharmacy business. But if you look at the specifics of what we do, it's really not the same thing. If you want that, as a patient, and mind you, as a pharmacist, I'm also a patient. And there are specific things I wish for as a patient. Do I want a place where I'm just a number? Or do I want a place where I can go to the pharmacist and, shake him and even invite him for my son's birthday? You see, there's always that personal connection you want to do, because healthcare is a work, it's a partnership. Okay, if you have a doctor, it's a work with you. They know, they follow your history, and that's the same way it is for a pharmacist. They follow your history, so you really want to have a bond, a certain kind of bond with your pharmacist. And that's what it is with independent pharmacies. We bridge that gap where you don't become a number. Now, can we exist as independent pharmacists without the chains? Absolutely not. I mean, look at the money they bring into the profession. They are market leaders. Okay, they definitely have a place in the business. And we also just do have a place. I mean, you think about it, there's Starbucks everywhere, but there's also mom and pop's coffee shops. And some people will tell you, oh my God, I can't do without Starbucks. And some people will tell you, if I don't go to my friend's coffee shop in the morning, I don't think my day is made. So, and I have actually leveraged on that partnership, because we are all partners in public health. There's been times where patients come in here, and I know that their specific situation is better filled by a chain pharmacy. And I'll give you an example. If you have somebody who drives trucks and he drives around the whole country, why do you want them to come to your pharmacy when you know that next week and the week after they're going to be 600 miles away? You want them to go, and I've had this conversation with people, and I say, hey, it might be better for you to go to this chain store where if you're in Chicago, you have them. If you're in New York, you have them. But for that 60-year-old, 70-year-old patient who is stuck at home, doesn't travel, and even sometimes lonely, if you offer them the opportunity to say, hey, I know you just got back from the hospital, I know there's medications they gave you from the hospital, and I know that there's medications you've been going through before, I want to come to your house and look through what you're taking and make a professional pharmacist's opinion based on what you're taking and go through that with you. Of course, the patient would appreciate that, but the chains cannot do that. So yeah, we all have rooms to exist, and I actually choose to see them as partners rather than threats.
Okay, so you're saying it's an ecosystem wherein both of you needs to exist to make sure that we prosper one another.
Absolutely.
All right, that is a wonderful take on it, actually. Now, one advice that you would like to give to your patients. Anything. Just one. If you can just give one.
Work very well with your pharmacist.
Oh, all right. That's good one. Okay. Do you see any differences in patients' habit after the pandemic? Like the pre-COVID and the post-COVID thing, something that has changed, maybe the mindset or the way they maybe take medications or something?
Of course, yes. People are a lot more, and of course this happens with every, health scare. People are a lot more in tune or have more interest now in following up their medication therapy. That is a good thing. And the other thing too is people now want to know, we've seen a higher level of compliance. Prior to now, it used to be, you give that medication, you're trying to counsel the patient and you say, hey, take this exactly like this. And they just look at you like you're just talking again, but now people really ask questions. Hey, how does this work? Especially since I had COVID and I recovered from it, or how do I take this, especially now that COVID is here and is still not gone? Or what am I supposed to do if I think I've been exposed and then I have to take this medication? And then again, we've had a lot more embrace of vaccines now. And people are asking, hey, if I take this medication, what am I looking at with the fact that I just took my vaccines? So all of that conversation is here. And that is what the pharmacists love. We like public engagement and we want that, medication awareness to be out there.
Okay, so you're saying they have become more cautious as compared to they were earlier, right?
Very well. Yes.
All right, great. And one more, I mean, I think this question is a bit different and this would excite a lot of them. What is your take on digital pharmacies? Well, pharmacies are going to TikToks and, Instagram reels and all of that. What do you think to promote themselves, bringing customers in?
It comes with a risk and a lot of advantage, and we cannot take them away. But let's also not get carried away by the fact that it does have its risk, because every medication regimen is individualized. That's why you have a personal doctor who knows you best. Same thing with your pharmacist. He knows your medication history best. So, and I'll give you a particular example. The medications for weight loss, for example, it goes in the media without scrutiny because everybody can be a media mouthpiece now. What's going to make me lose weight within 2 weeks or within 3 weeks based on my medical condition may not be applicable or appropriate for the next man based on their medical condition. So that's the risk we see there. But we always embrace the awareness, okay? And the advantages I see in that is actually somebody is now going to know that, okay, with all of this publication, with the words out there, the pharmacist actually does have a role to play. Now, what we want them to be careful about is when you see all of this fancy, stuff and all of these fancy statements in social media, always consult your pharmacist so that you can get the specific individualized medication advice from a healthcare professional.
Okay, just don't follow blindly.
Absolutely.
Right. All right, great. I like that. I absolutely like that. Okay. One thing about your patients that you love the most when they visit your pharmacy?
When they come to see what I do and how I do what I do. And people have, have actually made statements, oh my God, I didn't even know you did that. I didn't even know pharmacists did that. That is always very encouraging. And of course, it comes with the fact that now I know I'm actually contributing to my community, and people are having individual opinions based on their experience about me, and it's tearing down a whole lot of stereotypes. That actually is always welcome.
All right, great. And one thing that you absolutely hate, you don't want your patients to do?
Please don't yell at me. The thing about that is, even so, with being, and this is a public health issue too. You see, there are two unique things about the pharmacist.
Okay.
Two unique things. Number one, it's very accessible. You don't need an appointment to see a pharmacist. Just walk into a drugstore, you go see a pharmacist, right?
Absolutely.
Number two, the pharmacist, the catastrophe of a pharmaceutical mistake is huge. Let's assume, look at a physician, for example, if I'm doing surgery, and as a physician, you're doing surgery and you make a mistake, you just kill that one patient, right? But if you're looking at a pharmacist who's going to dispense a particular medication for 1,000 people, and then that medication was put in the wrong bottle, guess what? You are killing 1,000 people.
Absolutely.
And when you come in and disrupt the flow of that pharmacist, you're actually putting the whole community at risk. So when you come into my establishment and I'm trying to take care of a little child who's crying and I'm trying to measure that medication and make sure it's right for that little 2-year-old or that little 2-month-old little baby. When you disrupt that, that life is at risk.
Absolutely.
And that's why we take it very personal about people, disrupting our workflow. So yeah, I try to tell my patients, just be patient. I got you and I'll do the best for you. But please just don't come in and disrupt our workflow.
Great, guys. If you're listening, please make sure that it's a tough job to be a pharmacist, stand at a store and actually deliver. And it's a profession at the end of the day, and they're trying to do a service, is what I would say. One last message that you want to give out to everyone who is going to watch this, not your patient specifically here, anybody who's watching this.
For everyone out there, if not for anything, you may not be taking any medication. Just spend time to talk to a pharmacist. There is so much we can contribute to good healthcare in the community. So know your pharmacist. Even if you are not taking medications today, try to create a relationship so that the day you start taking medications, you know who to go to. You do not want to wait at that point where, okay, I've been writing this prescription today. This is now when I want to start looking for a pharmacist. No, if you see any pharmacist in your street corner, in your neighborhood, just walk in there, introduce yourself and say, how are you doing? That would be highly appreciated.
All right, great, wonderful. It was actually great talking to you, Felix. As we close the conversation, all I want you to know, I want you to go ahead and tell where the pharmacy is exactly, the address, if you have any locations, so that they can know, okay, this is the place where I can visit, where I'll find a very good pharmacist to take care of myself. So yeah. And if you have any website that they can visit.
Yes, absolutely. Please. Aaron Pharmacy, we are located in 2465 Reynolds Avenue in North Las Vegas, Nevada. For anybody that has heard of Las Vegas, is one of the most exciting cities in the world, and we are just here contributing to that excitement in our own little way. Please feel free to swing by. We can be reached on phone number 775-372-8344 and via email at aaronpharmacy@outlook.com. All inquiries will be handled in the most professional manner and with a lot of love.
All right, great. So in case you're in Vegas and you're thinking whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, this is your pharmacy to visit. With that being said, it was an absolute pleasure to start to have a word with Felix from Aaron Pharmacy. At the end, I just wanted to inform, if you're a pharmacy, please download our new RxOnWeb application from your respective app stores for your patients to find you and send you easy refills while you manage the refills and their deliveries. And if you're a patient, we have made managing your medications and refills super simple. Do check it out. You can not only download on Android and iPhones, but also on iPads. Visit RxOnWeb for more info. And just one request that I have to make to Felix, can you please ask everyone to like, share, and subscribe to RxOnWeb, please?
Please subscribe and share to RxOnWeb. And one thing out there for anybody who's thinking of starting a pharmacy, and if you're a pharmacist, that is, or if you're a student who's thinking of going into the profession, RxOnWeb is somewhere to follow, and this is going to be filled with a lot of resources. So thank you so much, Prashant, for what you're doing, bringing awareness to us and giving us tools to succeed.
Thank you so much for that, Felix.